Okay, so we're up and we're ready and we're good to go. And I've got this brand new figure to open up for you guys. And this is Superman from the DC Super Villains line. So I don't understand. Let's look at the cross artwork on the back here because I don't think I did that with Green Lantern. I don't think there was cross artwork with Green Lantern. Come think of it, because it was remember there was all that text on the page on the back of the package. I think that was actually an international version, and this one is just the regular American version. So it says, the nefarious DC supervillains never rest, always scheming and plotting. Their vile pursuit of crime and chaos wreaks havoc across the world. Superheroes beware. And then we got some artwork down here at the bottom with some Golden Age Superman artwork, one of the earliest issues of the Superman comic book, the regular Superman comic book. I don't remember what exactly issue that was, but it was one of the first ones that had that that particular version of the Superman logo. What was the name of the artist that designed those? It was crap, it's on the tip of my tongue. I'm gonna have to look it up real quick, otherwise it's gonna drive me nuts. So DC Comics. It's right on the tip of my tongue, and I'm not sure. Irish Snap, that was his name. I knew it was going to drive me nuts. Irish Snap designed this version of the Superman logo that you can kind of just barely see the corner of there, and it was based on hand-drawn logos that Joe Shuster himself would draw in the comic strip. He wasn't I guess because he was kind of a rookie at the time. Schuster was not aware that you didn't draw the logo every single time. So he drew the logo every single time instead of photostatting it. But since DC, Detective Comics, National Comics, whatever you want to call it at that time, had their own in-house expert letterer who did this stuff, which is Irish Snap, he designed this version of the Superman logo that they could use, and they used it until like the early 1980s when it was redesigned slightly. Ira Schnapp, that's the gentleman's name. So yeah, Al Davis is here and says, "Evening, Alan, the main villain." And then Bobby Wald says, "That's what the S on his chest is for supervillain." And then Lone Dragon is here, and TMNT N4W is here, and Amiga Cami is here. Wow, we got like a whole bunch of people showing up. So this is cool. So, and TMNT says, "Don't ask what I was doing." Okay, I won't. Or Hugh Janus. No, it's Irish Snap. He did most of the lettering on the covers for DC Comics and designed most of their logos and everything on through the like I said, for at least until like the Silver Age, I think, when he retired or passed away or whatever. And then Gaspar Saldano became the main letterer for like the late Silver Age and on through the Bronze Age. And Bong Donkey is here. Man, everybody's just showing up today. This is great. So yeah, I guess you guys saw that I was opening Superman, and you got to show up for Superman, right? So looking at this figure in the package, there's one thing that disappoints me about this figure, and this is me nitpicking, and it's not going to be this way for every figure. I know my friend Rudy, he has the same figure, and it does not have this problem that mine has, where the emblem sits a little bit too high on the chest, and it actually overlaps a little bit with that flesh-colored plastic, which is unfortunate. I want to try to get a shot of this Superman face before I open up the package on the artwork, because it's a very nice one. I suspect that's Dan Mora, because I know he does a lot of stuff for DC. It looks kind of like his style, or somebody trying to ape his style. And it's a very Jose Luis Garcia Lopez type of Superman, which I like. So anyway, Al Davis, Lone Dragon says, Al Davis, it was Mike Oxlong. Oh, geez. All right, let's go ahead and open them up. Oh yeah, I was going to talk about the cross-sell artwork on the back here, since there wasn't any on Green Lantern, but we got a Batman in black, which I need to get. We got a Jokerized Batman, which I don't really care about Jokerized versions of characters, and Green Lantern that we already opened up, along with Superman there. So really, only one super villain on the back here, and technically it's a superhero that's been Jokerized. But I forgot to bring this, because I did get this yesterday. Like I said, it was supposed to show up. So this will be an upcoming episode. This will probably be the next episode after the Hulk, because I said I was going to open up the Hulk next. But I did get from Amazon the 3-pack of Batman, Nightwing, and Bane, which I think is probably supposed to be an exclusive, since it is in this mailer box. That seems like the sort of thing you usually see as an Amazon exclusive. So that's my first actual DC supervillain in the DC Supervillains line, is Bane. So that'll be an upcoming unboxing that we do. Al Davis says, you reckon they'll release the main DC superhero Lex Luthor in a sleek suit or a normal power suit? I figure he's going to be in the armor. He's going to be in the war suit. That's the most toyetic version of Lex Luthor. That's the one that makes the most sense to me. And then Bong Donkey says, cool. It does look pretty cool, doesn't it? I think so. All right, there we go. All right, so he's got these accessories on the tree, and I think at least some of them are pretty appropriate Superman accessories. But we got a breastplate, and we got a girder that looks like it's been mashed up in Superman's hand, and we got a chain. So we'll talk more about these in a little bit. I want to go ahead and get Superman himself out of the package first. And oh, I'm so happy right now. Look at this. You see what's going on? The tape is not in the package anymore. His cape isn't taped into the package. Oh, thank God. Thank you, God. Thank you, people at Mattel, for finally listening to me. No tape. See, Amiga Cami caught it. She knew immediately. Long-time viewers know. Long-time friends of the channel know. I hate it when they tape the capes into the packaging. And finally, I have a Superman that his cape was not taped into the packaging, so I'm not going to have to worry about that residue or anything like that. So now that I got him out of the package, we can see a little bit closer what I'm talking about. And you see how the flesh at the neck, it kind of even overlaps a little bit, I think, with the emblem. And I think that the emblem is too high, or this neck piece is too low. But either way, it's just slightly off, and that irritates me. I kind of feel like it would be better if I think that his collarbone is sculpted into the fleshy part, and I think it would be better if the collarbone was on the actual shirt, and that way I think that it would have not overlapped at all. So it does seem like his belt is a separate piece as far as like being molded, but it's not removable like Batman's belt. It seems like it's glued on solidly. I would imagine it looks to me like I can just grab the figure. I have the figure somewhere around here. Where was it? Is it in this box? Yeah, my extra Batman. Because like I said, I bought an extra Batman for custom purposes, and here he is. So it looks like to me that Superman and Batman use a lot of the same parts, but not all the same parts. He's got the same seams on his thighs and on his torso that Batman has, along with some of that kind of paneling. Actually, it's not textured paneling on Superman, but it is textured paneling on Batman. But this looks like this is the same sculpt. It's just it doesn't have that textured paneling on there, and that is strange. Why would they go through all the trouble to make another mold that's essentially the same thing? What an odd choice. The trunks aren't the same because the seams actually go down Batman's trunks. See that? He's got seams down his trunks, and Superman does not. And Superman's trunks are kind of banana hammocky, as we were talking about with the Flash the other day. But I guess that's just going to be the nature of the beast, isn't it? Misfit midriff, nice. Yeah, that's my new shirt that I got the other day. It's pretty cool. It's got the Crimson Ghost on it, or the Fiend, if you prefer to call him that. But he was from the movie serial The Crimson Ghost. So Lone Dragon says AI and Edna clip. No tape. Definitely no tape. Don't like the tape at all. And Al Davis says he was thinking of Edna Mode as well. Well, it occurred to me also. So I guess great minds think alike and fools seldom differ. So he has more plastic over the hip, says Al Davis. Well, maybe a little bit. I don't know. But yeah, it's weird because it's definitely the same. It's definitely based off the same sculpt as Batman. It's the same musculature and everything like that. The seams are in the same place. The wrinkles at the seams are in the same place. But it just doesn't have the texture that Batman has, which is strange. Now, Batman's upper arms are obviously different because Batman's got a little bit of extra armor plating there. And of course, Superman doesn't need that. So he's just got kind of more plain sleeves. But he's got those seams in there. He's still got the seams. He just doesn't have the textured paneling. So the seams are even more useless on Superman because it's not even like a different kind of fabric. Al Davis says on Flash he had no ballroom. Yes. But it's a child's plaything, so I'm not going to be too concerned about that. The head sculpt is good. I feel like it's a good, solid, vanilla Superman head sculpt. It doesn't look like it's any particular artist or anything like that. It does have like a little bit more of a modern kind of styling to his hair. Like almost kind of more like how modern artists tend to draw it. A little more windswept, I guess you would say. Not quite as sculpted as it was during the Silver Age or Christopher Reeve, who usually wore a wig when he played Superman, actually, because they wanted to keep that hair perfect, So, Lone Dragon says, just like Trump. Oh, we don't want to talk about the Orange Man, do we? This is an Orange Man free zone. And Superman has one hand that's a gripping hand, and he does come with some accessories, so that's probably appropriate. And one solid fist hand. And like I said, I like that when Superman has solid fists, because usually he doesn't come with accessories. But this one does come with accessories, so it's good to have one solid fist hand and one gripping hand. Amiga Cami says, I think all the Superman actors wore wigs. Most of them, I think, probably wore wigs at some point or another, depending on the scene. I think that George Reeves, that was like his real hair that was just slicked back. And I know that Brandon Routh, they did make not a full wig, but he had like a separate spit curl hairpiece that was just this perfectly sculpted spit curl that they'd stick on there. Al Davis says, I quite like the face. Superman's face can be tricky. There are only a few McFarlane soups where I like the face. Yeah, they did a good job. Again, it doesn't look like any particular artist, but it's recognizably Superman. So that's nice. And like I said, it is a little bit more of a modern style Superman, and I'm a little more old school when it comes to my Superman. It's just as far as my personal preferences. Amiga Cami says that David Cornsweat wore a wig also. I know there were some shots of him wearing like a bald cap or something, or like a do-rag kind of thing in some scenes, because apparently they wanted to CGI his hair. I don't know. I didn't like the way they did his hair in those movies, because like the curl just became like a perfect circle, and that was weird to me. And I'm like, why are you even bothering to do Superman's curl if you can't get it right? Just don't do it if you can't get it right. Me personally, I think the best Superman hair was Kirk Allen in the movie serial, where like it didn't look like it was sculpted to be that way at all. It looked like he was just a guy who combed his hair to the side and then it'd flop over when he was in action. And that's what Superman's hair should look like to me, I think. I think he had the best Superman hair. I suspect that when John Byrne was drawing his Superman comics, that he was trying to draw Superman's hair kind of like Kirk Allen's. Even though mostly Byrne's Superman scene based on Christopher Reeve, it was Christopher Reeve with Kirk Allen's hair. That's how I see it anyway. And Amiga Cammy agrees with me. And Al Davis says, I thought he was going to rob a bank after the day's shooting. Oh, maybe. I don't know what that guy's extracurricular activities are. So I guess let's go ahead and talk about the articulation before I get into talking about the accessories. So Superman can look up about that far, which is not as far as Green Lantern, but it's still like a pretty decent amount to look up. I think we can get him into the Kurt Swan flying pose while I'm at it, because that's something I always like to do with my Superman figures. And I also like with all my Superman figures to pose him in that arms akimbo pose. So we might as well get that out of the way too. Oh yeah, that looks cool, doesn't it? That's your thumbnail right there. He's going to be posed like that. So, and then Superman's head rotates all the way around, can tilt kind of quizzically from side to side. His arms, of course, rotate all the way around at the shoulders, and they raise up to the sides about that far. By the way, just so I know a lot of people are really concerned about this, and a lot of people really care about this. He does not have the Superman emblem on the back of his cape, unfortunately. And I figure they probably did that because of the backpack hole that they have back here. They didn't want it to get in the way, but I think you could have printed it like just slightly below that, and it will look fine. So Mattel, if you go back to the drawing board and do another Superman figure at some point, yeah, try to get that emblem on there. Al Davis says Cavill, Cornsweat, and Hecklin all had good hair. I don't think Cavill's hair was fine. It was kind of George Reeves-ish. Occasionally he'd get the curl falling down like I was talking about. And Hecklin, I think, also was kind of more sort of George Reeves-ish. They were fine. And then Al Davis says, I quite like the crossed arms. Oh, really? I'm Superman. I don't know if he's articulated well enough to do that. Yeah, because he won't quite reach far enough. But yeah, you kind of get him in a cracking his knuckles kind of pose. That's kind of neat. So where was I as far as the articulation goes? Oh yeah, he's got a single joint of articulation at the elbow, which bends about that far. It's a little more than 90 degrees, and then that rotates all the way around. His wrists rotate all the way around, and he has a horizontal hinge that moves back and forth like so on each hand. Both have a horizontal hinge, and both rotates all the way around. And then he rotates all the way around at the torso. And then Superman can kick up about that far. He can't kick back very far because, once again, the buttocks are sculpted onto the trunk piece. So with the Flash, he had a little more room. But it seems like with Superman and Batman, they're just straight like that. And then Al Davis says that's the stirring the cauldron dance move. Yeah, I could do that too. You could look at it that way too. So Superman has, he can do the splits, no problem. So there we go. Do the super splits. And then he's got a thigh cut, so that rotates all the way around right at the upper thigh. He's got double jointed knees. That's about the range of motion you get at the knees. And he does have a boot cut. So it does rotate all the way around. Although because of the design of his boots, it does kind of bump into it a little bit. But it's fine. It's fine. Let's get a shot of the world's finest together, Superman and Batman. And they both look pretty cool together, don't they? I think so. And then let's go ahead and get the accessories off of this tree. So yeah, next episode I'll be opening up the Hulk. So that'll be our next episode. And then episode after that, I think I will go ahead and open up the Bane versus Batman and Nightwing set. And then we will have our first DC supervillain in the DC supervillains line. Isn't that exciting? All right, so first I'm going to get off this girder. And man, if they didn't do the thing with the girder that where see where like they got the sprue right in between these two rivets in the girder, and it's very tricky. I think I got it. I think I got it. It's still a little rough because I wasn't able to get it exactly. Very tricky to get the snips in there. So it's a little rough, but there's the girder. And you see it's got a little hole in there. I believe this chain is supposed to attach into that somehow. And there's another piece of girder also. So we'll go ahead and get this chain off of here. And a chain is always a good accessory to have come with Superman, I think, because like going back to the Golden Age, I want to say even in the very first issue of Action Comics, there's a panel of Superman bursting the chain with his chest, with the like a circus strongman would do, where they'd wrap the chain around the circus strongman's chest and he just expand his chest to the point where it would, pop the chain. So that was something that that was part of that circus strongman tradition. Okay, I think I see how this works. We'll get to that in a second. This other piece of the girder here. They lock together. They fit together somehow. I'll show you. But yeah, and then of course, Bronze Age kids from the 70s and 80s saw this on a lot of merchandise. The Neil Adams Kryptonite Nevermore cover with him bursting the chains and the bits flying everywhere. Neil Adams himself, for whatever reason, was very critical of that drawing, and he felt like he could have done it better, which is ironic because I think for people my age, it's maybe the most iconic Superman drawing. But yeah, so the girder fits in there. The little piece of girder fits in there like that, and it can be removed. And again, there's these little holes at the end of it, and I think that you're supposed to fit the chain through there, like that it can kind of clip on there a little bit, but it doesn't seem to stay on there very well. But it seems like that's what it's designed to do. Maybe if I try to just fit the whole thing in, it's being kind of picky. But regardless, it's a little piece of chain Superman can play around with a little bit. So you could do a thing if he had two gripping hands where he'd just be gripping this girder apart. So I don't know if it's supposed to be part of the design or if it's just supposed to fit together. Like if you're just supposed to keep it as full girder, but you could have him rip it apart if you wanted to, I suppose. And then the last accessory is the one that to me is the most kind of okay, whatever, which is this breastplate. And does Superman really need armor? I mean, come on, he's Superman. You want to give him a jetpack, maybe? It's like the Flash that came on a motorcycle. Remember that for the Justice League animated series where they did the Flash's motorcycle? And it is a nice design of the breastplate. I'm going to give it that. And then that piece fell on the floor, that piece of the sprue. Oops. And if this was like a steel action figure, I would think this was really cool. But it's not. It's Superman. Maybe I'll make myself a steel action figure. Maybe I'll do that. I don't know. Maybe wait for Mattel to do it themselves. Maybe they will. So there's two little pegs at the top here and two little holes here. And that's how it fits together. And there's also the backpack peg on the back of the breastplate. So let's go ahead and put that on him and see what it looks like. Tiny little pegs. Tiny little pegs. I think they probably could have made those a bit larger. I think there was certainly room to make those a little bit larger. They seem like they're going to be kind of delicate. And I wasn't able to snip the pieces here quite as well as I wanted to just because of the way it was designed. Amiga Cami says it looks kind of like Superboy Prime's armor. Yes, it does, doesn't it? That's actually a really good point. I hadn't even thought of that. But yeah, there's what he looks like with the breastplate on. But there's more to this breastplate. This isn't just the front and the back here. There's actually some shoulder pauldrons that go on there. So we're gonna put the whole thing together. And for whatever reason, they decided to have the sprue right on the peg there. And I can't imagine that that's going to make it easier to fit this peg in here. Oh, and then it's so deep on. It didn't even cut all the way with the snips. That's annoying. Ah, man, that was a little bastard, little tough piece of plastic. And look at this one. This one's like at an angle. You see that one? They are not making it easy for me. For the accessory that I care about the least. This is the breastplate. Okay, so we got both of those off now. Isn't this exciting? Don't you love seeing me cut stuff off of sprues? Lone Dragon says, I, for one, cannot wait till we get a 112 Supermobile and Supercopter. You know, if they did the classic Supermobile, the one over here with the fists on it, I would enjoy that. I'm not even going to lie. Supercopter. The Justice Jogger. That's what they ought to make from the old Superpowers line. They ought to give us the Justice Jogger. So then you have to you can't put these together until the whole thing's assembled. And they do kind of articulate a little bit, so hopefully it won't interfere with his articulation too much. And I don't know if it makes any difference which side these go on, so I'm just putting them on whatever side. But yeah, there he is with the breastplates on the Spider Van. Yeah, I had, when I was a kid, I had like a Spider-Man helicopter that was made for the 12-inch Mego figure to fit in. Mego didn't make it. Some other company made it in scale. And it came with like a whole crime lab set up with like a microscope and a camera and all kinds of crazy stuff. I was happy to have the camera for Spider-Man because, you know, Peter Parker. And the microscope obviously is something that, like, you know, Peter Parker is associated with too, if you read Amazing Fantasy 15. So I actually really liked all the gear that came with them. And, you know, I think I was young enough to not care that Spider-Man came with a helicopter. So I like the breastplate that came with Green Lantern because it seemed like something he could conjure up with his ring. I don't really care about Superman having a breastplate. And I noticed that the emblem on there is not the regular Superman emblem. That's the New 52 Superman emblem. And I'm not a fan of New 52 Superman at all. So I can't see me using this breastplate with Superman too much. Like I said, if I did decide to make myself a custom figure of Steel, I could definitely see myself, you know, using this breastplate for that. I could see myself reusing it for that. Or Jor-El, or something like that. Some character that I feel like would actually wear a breastplate like this. But Superman doesn't need one. Superman doesn't need one at all. I'm taking it off and setting it aside and probably never putting it on this figure again. Now for the accessories that I actually do like, which is the chain. And he can only hold this by one hand, since, like I said, he only has one gripping hand, but he can hold the chain, so there we go. Maybe whip that around at a bad guy. Maybe he's fighting somebody who's just as strong as him, Doomsday or Parasite or Bizarro or somebody, and just whips him with the chain. But like I said, chain is a good accessory to have with Superman. Pretend like he's breaking a chain or whatever like that. It's something that I kind of feel like it's got a lot of Superman history behind it, and that works really well. So we'll set that aside for now. And then probably my favorite accessory to come with it is this girder. And I do love how they have not only because it makes it easier for him to hold, but the way that the girder is just kind of mashed up in his hand like that, it definitely demonstrates his superhuman strength. And again, I can imagine him just bashing the hell out of Doomsday or somebody with this thing. Oh man, they should do a Doomsday figure. Hopefully they do Doomsday. I'll be very happy if they do. So, but yeah, so he could use it as like a melee weapon or something if he had to. Or maybe he just caught it because it's about to fall on top of somebody, smashing in his hand. Al Davis has a pimp chain fedora with big feather and a pimp cane and fur coat. Super pimp. He's super fly. That's what he is. Super fly. Oh man, a great song, great movie, but I love the soundtrack even more. So yeah, I guess that's pretty much it for Superman. This is I think a pretty good classic vanilla Superman figure, and it's a good figure for kids. Like we opened up a lot of McFarlane figures on this channel of Superman, and we've opened up a few of the Spin Master figures of various scales. And I think this is definitely more in line with the stuff Spin Master was doing than the stuff McFarlane was doing, or really anything that Mattel was doing beforehand. I think this is a really good, high quality action figure that you can still give to your kids. Like it's not like it's not like going to be as delicate as a McFarlane figure. Exactly, Al Davis says it's a good gateway soups. I think so. So I know I've got a lot of parents of young children who watch this channel, and if you do, this is a perfect line to get them started out with. Especially we get that. Where would I put Batman? The Batman figure is great. All these figures have been pretty great so far that I've opened up. I've been pretty happy with all of them. And they're good, kind of classic, iconic versions of the characters. They do have some modern flourishes to it. And in the case of Robin, it's definitely a more modern costume, because that's a costume that was created within the past 5 years or so, I think. But at this point, like I kind of figure like these are about as classic as you can get as far as the designs go. Yeah, Batman's got the rebirth emblem on there, but it's close enough to a golden age type Batman emblem. I can't imagine many people would complain too much about it. It's just got the yellow border around it, and personally I like the yellow border because I feel like it helps it pop a little bit more. Even just looking at it on the screen from over here, I can still see how it pops a little bit more. Now looking at the our next figures from this line that I'm going to be opening up, I did notice when I was looking at this guy, and I'll talk more about this once we get to this episode. So this will be like 2 episodes from now. Is this version of Batman does have just kind of a plain black bat on there with no yellow border. It's just a kind of Jim Lee looking bat. It's a Jim Lee looking Batman overall. I'm going to talk about this obviously more once we open this figure up on the next episode. Not the next episode, but the next episode I talk about these Mattel DC figures is going to be this one. The next episode overall, like I said before, is going to be this Titan series Incredible Hulk figure, which I'm looking forward to opening up. I'm going to try to open up some more Marvel stuff next month, because there's a lot of Marvel stuff that I haven't opened up that I want to get around to opening. I got this Deadpool and Wolverine figure, Hugh Jackman in the brown outfit. I've got the Electro figure from the Spider-Man No Way Home. Got a few other Marvel Legends figures I want to open up too. Got the Vincent D'Onofrio Kingpin and some other things that I've been sitting on for a while. So Al Davis says the Superman emblem looks like an S. Thank the Lord. Yeah, like even the new 52 version like still looks like an S. And I've been over before why I'm not really a fan of them using the Kingdom Come Superman S in the movie. And even though I like that in Kingdom Come, it doesn't work as a regular Superman. And I don't like that they use that for various other reasons. I don't really want to get into it right now, but I've already made my position clear on that. I don't think we're gonna have to worry about it much longer, though. I don't think. Probably this next one that comes out, if it does come out, that's probably gonna be the last one. Because unless it makes like Spider-Man Brand New Day kind of money, I can't imagine it. Nice S. Yeah, I remember that. That's what Lois on the animated series. Lois, when Superman flies away after their yeah. And that one also continued in the tradition from the Superman the movie of having that be the family crest of the House of L from Krypton. Which is all the more reason he shouldn't wear that emblem anymore in the newer movies, because Jor-El's not a good person in those, is he? No, he's not. Anyway, that's it for this episode. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, please make sure that you like and subscribe and all the fun YouTube stuff down below. Next episode, we'll be back with the Incredible Hulk, one of my favorite superheroes from my childhood, and I could not resist picking up this guy when I saw him in the store. I'll get into all the reasons that I appreciate this figure just from what I've seen of him so far. I think that once I get him opened up, hopefully I'll appreciate the figure even more. But that's it for this episode. Hope you enjoyed it. Please make sure you like and subscribe. YouTube likes it when I say like and subscribe. Leave a comment down below. I like it when you leave comments. And let me know what you think about this Superman action figure and you think about this line in general. One other thing I want to point out is that I do think they went a little light on his eyebrows. And they did this kind of thing where like they kind of tried to paint it in like every individual hair. Like it's supposed to be like realistic type eyebrows. And I think I might repaint them. I think I might prefer it to be a solid eyebrow. I don't know. Amiga Cami says, thanks for the show. Take care. See you next time. Hopefully so. Always good to see you. And Al David says, peace and love, everyone. Right back at you. Thanks, everybody, for stopping in for the chat. Lone Dragon says we should get a Jokerized Alan episode for the end of the McFarlane line. Oh, geez. So if I did a Jokerized episode, how do I handle the beard? Do I paint the beard green, or do I just put white grease paint over it and hope you don't notice that I have a beard like Cesar Romero? How would you recommend I proceed with that? Thanks for watching, everyone. We'll talk to you next time. Bye.